Let's talk about this new couple, Karrington and Zay from Love After Lockup. First of all, I just gotta point out, do you guys remember when I made a video a few weeks ago about Karrington? After someone ended up reaching out to me, they wanted to stay anonymous, and they ended up telling me like stuff about Karrington, like, hey, her and her family are like the local black Kardashians. They're on Family Feud, and everything that they had to say about Karrington and her family was really positive. And a lot of you guys in my comments were like, man, it sounds like Karrington herself is the one who messaged you. Well, I actually thought, I was like, no, it had to be someone else. But after we watched this episode, literally the way that Karrington introduced herself sounded word for word the same thing as what was messaged to me. She literally said, we're the black Kardashians. And that's what that person literally said in the DMs to me. So I'm convinced it was either Karrington or one of her sisters behind like some kind of fake profile who initially messaged me. But hey, it is what it is. I get it. If you're on the show, you want to get yourself out there and get people talking about it. Now let's talk about them in the last episode, and make sure you stay tuned until the end, because I'm going to talk about what recently came out about this couple that has me so freaking annoyed. So we see Karrington. She's a 25-year-old health insurance agent. She calls herself this hustler. She's always on the move. She's working full-time, she goes to school full-time, she has a daughter she's trying to juggle, and she had a brother who's locked up, and I guess he was locked up with this guy named Zay, and her brother ended up introducing her to this inmate by the name of Zay. They started talking, and after that they fell in love, and they've been talking every day. Zay is serving a 7.5-year prison sentence for robbery and assault. Apparently, he was hanging out with a few of his buddies, and they had this guy come pick him up, and they had plans to rob the driver. So while the guy was driving, one of Zay's buddies put a gun to the back of the driver's head and was like, hey, give me everything you got. I guess the guy only had $90 on him. So he gives up his $90, and then they made him pull over, and then the guy got out of the car, and then Zay walks up and starts pistol whipping him. It's like, okay, you already robbed the guy. Why do you gotta pistol whip him too? And the guy ended up getting injured, and Zay was eventually arrested for robbery and assault. And you did all that, and you got 7.5 years over a petty little $90. Plus, he had a few other buddies that he was with, so by the time they split that $90, they probably each walked away with like $20, $30, and you got 7.5 years over that. And I guess Karrington ended up meeting Zay through a video visit. They started talking, and Karrington's family kind of second-guessing Karrington's decision to be with an inmate, but I will give it to them. They are worried, but it doesn't seem like they're very judgmental, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that Karrington's brother is locked up, and the fact that her parents and her family has just been through so much, as I covered in my last video. The mother and the the three sisters in Karrington, they're living in the back of the mom's car for years and sleeping in the car, living in the car. They're really going through the struggle, so it's nice to see that she's finally made it out the other side. Sisters are super skeptical about Zay because they know very little about him, and they're very wary of his true intentions, that he really loves their sister, or if he's just in it to use her. And his release date is approaching. He's supposed to be getting out in less than a week, and everybody's curious to see how things are really going to go once he finally gets out. And then we learn from Karrington that she's been hiding this secret from him the whole time, so he's been thinking that she's been exclusive to him, but the whole time she's been dating other men. It kind of sounds like, yeah, I want a prison boyfriend, but I don't want to have to settle down and stop my whole life when it comes to dating. So she's still out there being active in the dating scene, and I guess that's something that we're gonna see Zay learn later on. I hope she brings it up, because remember when they had Martell and Kayla kept trying to say, oh yeah, I've been talking to other guys, and that was their storyline, and she's like, I'm gonna tell him when he gets out. And then once he got out, they never even talked about it. All we heard was him bitch about an oven. So I hope they actually approach the conversation, but I'm not sure if they are, because I learned from Sarcasm that Zay is still in freaking prison, and that's why I'm so annoyed with this storyline, because they're making it seem like he's about to get out in less than a week, and I had a feeling that he didn't get out, because in the trailer, and for those of you guys who watch all my videos, in my last video, I literally said this in my last video about Karrington and Zay. I was saying, out of all the couples I'm starting to think he didn't get out, or when he did get out, he ended up ditching her, because they're the only couple they did not show their release. In the teaser, they showed all the inmates getting out, you know, and jumping into their partner's arms or whatever, but the one couple they didn't show was Karrington and Zay. So I was like, okay, yeah, it doesn't look like he got out or he played her. Well, yeah, come to find out, nope, he didn't get out. I guess he was up for parole. But according to StarCasm, shout out to them, they're the ones that broke the news, he's still up in that prison. So they revealed that he was up for parole in August of 2025, which I'm assuming was when they were filming this season of Love After Lockup. But he's still in custody of the East Arkansas Regional Unit in Lee County, Arkansas, and he's been in custody since October of 2021, and there's no indication that he's been released from jail, and he's serving a 15-year prison sentence for felony robbery and felony theft of property by threat of serious physical injury in 2018. So his sentences are concurrent, so the most time that he'll serve for his sentences are 15 years max, but on the show is saying 7.5 years. And I guess according to StarCasm, yeah, he did not get out of prison, which that's so annoying to me, because this is going to be like another Keith and Letitia situation, and I don't think that Karrington is going to be enough to hold this whole season down by herself while he's locked up in prison still. I mean, maybe her and her family might, I don't know, but to me it's just so annoying, because we could have had an actual couple, because that's what Love After Lockup's supposed to be for. We go through love during lockup, and we have to go a whole season watching these people just talk on the phone, just so we can finally get that chance to see some of these inmates get out and act a fool. That's what Love After Lockup is supposed to be all about. But no, we learned that one of the couples, he's still not even out yet, and that just annoys me, because we could have had another couple instead that's actually getting out that we could have followed, and they could have just waited to come back when he actually was out. I'm sure they would have still brought them on the show regardless, knowing Karrington's past history being on TV and her past history dealing with diversity, and just the fact that they're completely different, and just from Karrington's like big family alone, I feel like they still would have brought her. I don't think that they need to go through all this. So now I'm curious what happened. Did Zay lie to Karrington and have her convinced that he was going to be getting out soon? I mean, that would make sense. Maybe he's lying about his time because he doesn't want Karrington to dip out, and he thinks she's not going to stick around, and she knows how long he really has left. Or did he lie to the producers? And that's the thing, I'm confused, because StarCasm was able to quickly confirm, yes, he was up for parole, but it looks like it didn't get approved. And I feel like the show, if StarCasm can find that out, the producers of the show can easily find that out. I've heard from personal experience of other people who applied from the show that once you apply for the show, one of the first things they want is that person's inmate number, so they can actually look up and confirm that that person's going to be getting out of jail, and kind of confirm that they don't have no like crazy charges, like no SA charges or anything like that. But it's like, okay, yeah, I feel like they easily could have been able to tell that he wasn't getting out. Just like when Keith, his season came out, before we even learned from the show, I was able to simply look up and learn myself that he was still in prison. And it's like, okay, so why are we wasting our time doing this? Why are you guys taking chances and putting someone on the show when they're going up for parole and we don't even know if they're gonna be put up for parole? Like, wait until after they hear from the parole board before you make a decision. That just gets on my nerves so much. But let me know what you guys think about that, and what do you guys think about Karrington and Zay so far? I'm just going to be so annoyed that we have a whole season of them talking on the phone, but I am curious to see her reaction once she does learn that he's not going to be getting out. But you guys let me know what you think about everything in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.